If you watched Mythic Quest from start to finish, you may be surprised to learn that Anthony Hopkins was on the show, though he's never seen. The irreverent Apple TV Plus comedy premiered in 2020 and centered on a video game studio that produced the titular MMORPG. Though the game itself is obviously a big part of the show, the real story was the love-hate relationship between Mythic Quest creator Ian Grimm, Rob McElhenny, and the game's lead engineer, Poppy Lee, Charlotte Nickdow. Sadly, Mythic Quest was cancelled after 4 seasons. At first blush, a goofy workplace sitcom may not seem like something Anthony Hopkins would have any interest in appearing in. The award-winning actor has won 2 Oscars, for playing cannibalistic serial killer Hannibal Lecter in The Silence of the Lambs and a man living with dementia in The Father, and Hopkins' best movies tend to be of the serious variety. Even his rare TV roles, like Dr. Robert Ford in Westworld, veer towards the dark and dramatic. Yet he fit in perfectly to the wild world of Mythic Quest. Anthony Hopkins was the narrator who explained Mythic Quest's Everlight holiday. He was the perfect voice actor for the job. The reason why you may not have realized that Anthony Hopkins was in Mythic Quest is that he never physically appeared in the show. Instead, he was the narrator who explained the origins of the Mythic Quest game's Everlight celebrations, in which a strange darkness takes over a kingdom, throwing its subjects into despair. When the king learns of a powerful sword called the Blade of Light, he holds a tournament to determine who is worthy of wielding it. Ultimately, it's the smallest challenger who instills hope in his people and saves the day. Of course, this is all a setup for the real world of the Mythic Quest characters, in which they partake in an annual Everlight celebration and tournament at the studio office. Typical hilarity ensues, with Danny Puddy's Brad trying to vanquish the New Year's-esque festivities forever. It's a fun episode that celebrates the joy of reuniting with each other in person after being apart for so long during the COVID-19 pandemic. The Everlight origin story is intentionally cheesy and generic, but the gravitas of Hopkins' narration gives it the flair befitting of an Ian Grimm creation. How Rob McElhenny booked Anthony Hopkins for the show. Another Mythic Quest actor knew Hopkins' lawyer. Ian having a rant in Mythic Quest. Mythic Quest co-creator and Ian Grimm actor Rob McElhenny bandied about several veteran British actors for the role of the narrator, including Dame Judi Dench and Sir Ian McKellen, as he wanted to cast a star with some heft, via Variety. McElhenny explained that he wanted the episode to be special and that, right from the very beginning of the episode, it just feels premium, like a cinematic experience. However, it was Craig Mazin, who played game tester Lou and wrote for the show, who came through with Anthony Hopkins, as he had a connection to the Silence of the Lambs actor through his lawyer. Within minutes of talking to Hopkins, McElhenny had their perfect narrator. McElhenny shared, when the COVID-19 pandemic rocked the world in 2020, film and TV shoots everywhere were shut down. This was bad news for Mythic Quest, which premiered in February 2020. However, the Mythic Quest creatives decided to film a COVID-19 pandemic special called Quarantine, in which Ian, Poppy, and the rest of the studio were working from home and attending virtual meetings just like the rest of us. For an episode that took place almost entirely over video conferencing, it was easily one of the most heartfelt of the whole show. One of Mythic Quest's best episodes, Quarantine, got rave reviews for its ability to tap into one of the scariest times in recent history while still making viewers laugh. From there, it was determined that there would be a second Mythic Quest special, and thus, Evermore was born, and the contrast couldn't be more apparent. Rob McElhenny said, "We just did the smallest episode, where we pointed iPhones at ourselves in our homes, and let's do something that's the complete opposite, let's blow it up." With a hand from Anthony Hopkins, I'd say mission accomplished.